Okay, guys, I made a few notes, just some ideas and suggestions to improve upon an already really nice happening thing. You guys have put a lot of work in. That's entirely evident. You've got a nice, tight sound, very precision laden, really nice. Good job on that. And one of the things I did notice, though, is in the first tune and in the last tune. Well, let me see if you guys can answer this for me. Did you feel the tempo do something? In the first tune and the third one, what did it do? Went down. Okay, cool. I'm going to try to help you with that, okay? First of all, the rhythm section, you guys are the power people of the band. You control the pulse and time of the band, which makes that a really fun thing because they depend on you to feed them everything. In that pulse, one of the most important things you've got to do, and that they've got to do too, you guys have all got to keep coordinate time up in your head before anything else. So if Mr. Max sets the tempo at it's got to stay there from beginning to the end without falling back. Now where it falls back is after you do an intro. A lot of times, bands in general will start to pull back then. The other place it happens is through a solo section. Okay? And it's because the whole ensemble drops out and everyone kind of, okay, everything's on, I'm just going to relax a little bit. Can't do that, of course. We have to drive from beginning to end, and that's up to you guys to do. So once that pulse is set, he's basically turning the airplane over to you to fly it, okay, of whatever tempo he sets. So that's not just the responsibility of the rhythm section, then it also depends on you guys to feel those quarter notes the entire time, too. Okay? But it's always the quarter notes. Metronome, you guys, I'm sure you know what the metronome is, and that's going to keep, they're very frustrating to work with, trust me. My first teacher that told me I had to, Don Stratton told me I had to work with a metronome. I was like, really? I don't want to work against that. Well, I'm grateful to him that he did that because what it did, by that being so stubborn with time and my having to practice with it, it ingrained the time into me just like it does any drummer, rhythm player, trumpet player, trombone, sax. It instills the rhythm in you so that when you go to a tempo, it stays there. So part of the commitment with you guys is you've got to feel those quarters too. No matter what you have for figures, and sometimes it's good to put the horn down and sing your figures out. Okay, if you've got a recording of any of these charts, put your horns down. Sing the rhythms with the recording. See if you're locking in. Then put your horn up and do the same exact thing. Okay? Time is so vitally important, and you guys are doing really, really well with it, except you need to focus on driving it just a hair more and committing to it once you do it. Okay, and just try to keep it there. That was it, and the reason I'm harping on this so much is that everything else was so incredibly good, and it wasn't that it was that bad. I just think it's going to take you to the level of owning this program altogether. Okay. Nice swing and feel in the opening number, guys. Very nice solos. Saxes, when you're doing your solos, and I want to commend you on this, and I want to also compliment your director on this. He's teaching you guys to appreciate and to play some of the old school style. Okay? That's a special thing, because in order for you to be a well-rounded musician and a seasoned musician, that's part of the education. It's a vital part of the education. He's done a fabulous job teaching that to you. You guys are doing it, so I credit you for that. That's great, because it's one thing for a director to talk. It's another thing for you guys to pick it up and do it, and you're doing it, so I commend you. The only thing I would like a little more of is a little more sound, a little more punch, okay? Because saxes are so much fun when they do that. It's just like the brass section. When they get up there and they scream, it just takes on a new energy and drive. So, and with your instruments, you know, with the bells firing right up into the air, you guys, when you articulate, sometimes saxes have to work a little bit harder because the acoustic is going straight up. So over-articulate sometimes to get the punch. When we say punch, really, you know, ba-da-ah-ah-ah, really punch that out like that, not da-da-da-da-da, because behind your stand, it'll probably sound like you're punching a little bit. But 20, 30 feet away, it won't have that same impact. So just keep that in mind a little bit. But your sounds are just excellent. Caleb, beautiful sound, by the way. I want to talk to all of you about something that's really going to help you, though. Okay, it helped me tremendously. I played for, I can't believe I'm saying this now, over 40 years now. I have been playing trumpet for over 40 years, and I can't believe that. Time goes by so fast. I played wrong for probably 25 of those years. Physically, I was set up wrong. though I have played professionally in Boston and everything. And the way that my chops get strong is I practiced every day for 4 hours. Because if you're playing wrong physically, you have to compensate somehow. So I built the chops up to compensate for it. Guess what? You don't have to work so hard. That's the good news. But the system I'm telling you about is one that the professional musicians use when they breathe. Okay? Not many people do it because it's not natural to do it that way. But if you do it that way, you're going to start to increase your range. You're going to start to take control of your range. And you're going to start to increase your endurance, tonal color, sounds that come out of your horns. Okay, here's the secret. I'll give it to you right now. Then it's up to you whether you want to use it or not. Step one, you've got to get the air to go low down in your lower abs. Okay? If you don't do that, you're breathing up here, and that's what you guys are doing right now. And that's why when you put all the pressure here and you're not breathing correctly, you're living on borrowed time because this tissue here is very soft. Okay? And without air support, without air speed, without firm abs behind that, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. I mean, your instrument sometimes probably feels like a mystery to you because you have some good days, you have some bad days, brass players, right? Okay? Yeah, there's a reason for that. Okay, so here are the steps, real easy. Step one, Star Wars, Darth Vader. Breathe deeply, O syllable, nothing above it, like this. Okay? Hear that? Sound like Darth Vader a little bit? Okay, now if I go, that's wrong, because my body's filling up with air here and here. Guess what? My throat's going to close off a little bit. Guess what that's going to do to my sound? It's going to pinch it off. Okay? But if I go, oh, and I relax through here and here and here as I play, and especially under here, because this tightens up really quickly too when we're playing trumpet players. Okay? Because you've got a lot of compression in those trumpets. They're tighter. They're tighter than the trombone is. Okay? So what you do, step one, taking the O-breath. Step two, lock your abs around that air down here, around your belly button area, and then hold that firm the entire time you're playing. You know why? What you're doing if you hold the abs firm is you're switching embouchures in a way. You're putting the strength down here, and you're putting the force down here so that you can play longer up here and play high. Have you heard anyone play really high and loud and wonder how they do it? That's all it is. It's compression. Okay? Noah's smiling because he's heard me do that sort of thing before. Okay? But there's no big secret to it, and I'm nothing special. It's just that I'm doing it right, and I love to pass that on to you guys, because if you guys do it, and you do it right, you're going to get more sound, and you're going to get more penetration without working as hard. And your chops aren't going to give out on you, okay? So step three of all of that is to regulate the airspeed as I do it. I can tell you as a generalization, when you're in the low register, you don't need a lot of airspeed. Low C is the easiest note on the horn to play, or B flat, isn't it? So there's not much resistance there. It's easy. But as you ascend higher, it gets a little tougher, doesn't it? Wouldn't you like to have something to fight that resistance with? Use your airspeed. Okay, so as you ascend up, go and drive some air against it. And then you tell yourself as you play how much you need to use. Okay? So if you guys do that, because you're all great players to begin with, if you do that, I guarantee you're going to be a different sounding band in a very short amount of time. Okay? Because there are a few places where I've shared this and done clinics on this, and you ought to hear some of those kids play. It's phenomenal. Okay? And I'd love you guys to do it too, because you're a great band, and I'd like to pass it on to you. Plus, I'd like to put you guys in control of your instruments. I don't want them controlling you. I want you guys to feel good about what you're doing, and the fact that you're controlling those horns. Now, the other part of that, the lips have to vibrate. Some people's lips vibrate naturally and easily, some don't. Okay? There's a way around that too. And a lot of it. Where did I just learn that? I know it sounds freakish. Roger Ingram, who played for Harry Connick Jr., he was just up here a short time ago, and he's played for Wynton Marsalis. He's played for the Woody Herman Big Band. He's one of the most incredible screech trumpet players I've ever heard, and powerful players. And what did he tell me in the lesson I took from him? A ton of that. Okay? Because once these are vibrating, and you couple it up with the breathing system, guess what? Your sound is going to do just about anything you want it to do. Okay? You guys are so good. If you start implementing some of these things, you're going to go to the next level. What a great, powerful sound you have. Really, now, have you done any of that breathing stuff before, or are you just natural? Does it happen naturally for you? No, okay, good. Yeah, because you've got a really powerful sound, and it's very natural. And some people do, but the good news is, if you don't have a natural sound, guess what? I don't. Every day when I pick up my trumpet, I sound like a beginner. I really do. I'm not kidding you guys. Honest to God's truth. Okay? The reason is my lips don't vibrate naturally. But guess what? If I do this and this, combine and do like 2-3 minutes of it, my sound opens right up, and I don't have a bad day. Okay, so I know I took a little bit of time with that, but I think that's also something holding you guys back from taking a #1 spot. Because I can tell you, there are some very, as you guys know, there are going to be some pretty competitive brass sections you're going to be working against. I want you guys to compete. I want you to do well. Okay, and you are. You're competing very well. But I want to help you do that edge too. Okay, cool. Moving on from that very quickly. Saxes, when you have that 16th note passage in the second tune, da 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 da, that one. Yeah, really be stately with that, okay? And the first two notes, da 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 da. Really dig into that, because that's kind of a cute thing. That's like a phrase, a passage that is almost quoting something very traditional, because a lot of the old stock arrangements, that they called them back in the old days, in the 1930s and 40s, sheet music was only about this big, and they called them stocks, and they had a lot of standards like that. One I think of that was a beautiful sax feature was called Opus in Pastels. The Stan Kenton Orchestra did it, and it's just beautiful. And that's one of the figures. Ba, 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 da, 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 and I wonder if that's quoting that a little bit. Dig into that. Don't be too polite with it. Don't go da 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 da, because then we really haven't noticed it. So make it really sound kind of deliberate. Da 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 da, and lock in and do it together when you do it. Okay? You did a great job, but I want to give you again that little extra edge to help you with that. Nice style, though. You guys are getting that very traditional tone and everything, and it's beautiful. I love it. Again, Matt, outstanding opening on the trombone thing on the third feature. Kayla, I love your sound. You've got a beautiful tone. If you implement some of this breathing stuff and you relax through here and relax through here, guess what? You're going to take even greater control and make what's already a beautiful tone get beautifully controlled, too. You won't have to be like, oh, no, I'm going to die. No, put it all in your muscles. Let those do the work, and you enjoy it. Okay? Good. Let me see if there's anything else I noticed. In the third piece, guys, again, don't slow down in the solo section. You really want to support those solos. You want to drive it. One thing I noticed, fabulous bass player here. You're doing a wonderful job. I do see some extraneous movement from you as you're moving around, kind of. Sometimes that gets in the way of the time a little bit. Try to, and I love seeing you move, by the way. I love that, and I love the fact that you're feeling it. But just do a reality check and see if you sit a little more still and put the energy into your fingers and moving up the fretboard and getting your body a little more steady and with less movement. See if that helps the tempo a little bit too, because you're going to let the energy go where it needs to and where it needs to hold the tempo. Okay? So just experiment with that a little bit. If it doesn't, I love the fact that you're moving around, because I love the showmanship of it. But again, if it gets in the way and it slows us down a little bit, we want to be careful with that too. Other than that, guys, just work on those things. Work on the time. Play it as a game. Once the tempo is set, just play a game with yourselves and the whole ensemble to see how consistently you can lock that in from start to finish and not let it drop, okay? You guys are fabulous. I'm very proud of you. You've done some material here that is outstanding, it's challenging, and it's done with great style. And I'll tell you something, I love hearing the tradition in it, but I also like the newer twist to it as well. You guys are combining those styles so well. And this would be a great teacher here too. So thank you so much for tonight. I really enjoyed hearing you. Have a great one.